What's up, guys? Nick Major here, APTV correspondent. I recently sat down with Bradley from Emarosa and chatted about their latest album, what the writing process was like for it, how he has spent the last few years establishing himself as the frontman of the band, and a lot more, so stay tuned to see what he had to say.
If your body's broken, love, your heart is helpless. I know that you know.
My man, it's good to finally be sitting down and chatting with you since Warped Tour has wrapped.
Yes.
What have you been up to?
We've been busy. We went and did a UK tour. London, sold out. And then we took about a month off, rehearsed a little bit, and now we're in the middle of the US headliner.
And right after Warped ended, I loved that you guys dropped the One Car Garage video because it was such a throwback to what we all spent the summer doing.
Yeah, it was nice. We had Tim Burton do that video.
The Tim Burton.
Yeah, we had a man named Tim Burton do that video. And he was out with us. He was out with Chelsea Grin, but we kind of borrowed him day to day, and he put together a rad video. I mean, you saw it. It was It was some good memories that I forgot about, and then and watch it. I often watch it still just to kind of bring myself back.
Were you guys making that all throughout the summer? Because there's a lot of shows in there.
I think it took, it took about, I'd say two weeks to get everything.
And so speaking of the new album, this is the you guys came out with 131 over the summer.
Yep.
And this was the second album with you.
Yes.
In the band. So I got to ask, what's it like transitioning, being someone new coming into a band where you're filling the footsteps of a previous frontman? And I know that you said that writing the previous album versus it was kind of like you were trying to give the fans what they had been used to and what they had expected.
Yeah, I wasn't really being myself. It was a very anxious record, and there was a lot hanging over all of our heads. I hated it. I didn't like recording that record at all. And I think that it shows in that record. It's very anxious and angsty and not what 131 is. At that point, when we recorded 131, I've established myself as the frontman of the band. It's a new vibe. The energy in the band is so different, and I think with 131 it reflected that. Just a much more positive and polished outlook.
Mm-hmm.
And it was tough. I mean, everybody knows the history of Emarosa, for the most part, at least in this world. And so it's not very fun to try to overcome all of that. But where we are now we're so far beyond that past. And I mean, just playing these shows, obviously we're here tonight, Los Angeles, sold out. It feels awesome. And this tour has been great. New York sold out, Dallas sold out. And these kids are singing 131 louder than any other song that we play. And it solidifies my thought process of this is what Emarosa is now.
Yeah, and it just shows this is
exactly.
Emarosa.
And doing Warped Tour, the past 2 years, it was the first year we did Warped, it was this is who we are. And then this year we did Warped, it's all right, now we've got comfortable in our own skin. I'm at the helm. We put on the show that we put on, and that gave us so much steam, and it exposed us to so many people, and that put us in the place that we are now.
And you guys were on the first half of Warped last year, right?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen a band leave Warped Tour partway through that there was such an outcry to bring them back. We were all literally wearing shirts that said "Bring Back Emarosa."
Yeah, it was amazing. That's one of the most humbling experiences of my career. We were gone, and then the next day they said that they had sold out of the Bring Emarosa Back shirts. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm. So at what point in the last few years of coming into this established band that has such a history, did you finally start to feel like you were part of this family? Did you start to realize, you know what, I am the front man of this?
I would say last year Warped Tour when we did that, having the music community, the people that are involved in it, be so supportive, that on the industry side, that started to feel really good. And then this year, with us releasing 131 and doing Warped again, and people are starting to understand what the band's about and what we are. And now this tour being the first real headliner that this band has done, I would honestly say that this headliner is the milestone of that's it. This is Emarosa. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? With at the same time respecting the past of the band that put them where they are, me coming in and Matthew Marcellus coming in, we've helped, and we are a big part of taking that band past past the place that it was. We've broken into such a new world compared to where they were, and I'm proud of that. And people try to say, you know, like, oh, respect where the band has come. Like, yes, but we've taken it so far beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there needs to be an equal amount of respect there as well.
Yeah, and that shows musically. With the new album, there's some stuff that was touched that the band had never really approached before.
Exactly. I mean, the band is evolving. The band is growing. We're growing as people. And so the music, you can't keep making 2007 over and over. That's not what any real musician wants to do.
It's nice to see progression within a band.
Of course.
Not the same thing.
Absolutely.
So what was it like writing 131 then? It was finally an opportunity for you to be you and write the way that you would write.
Yeah, I just started thinking, what would Michael Jackson do?
WWMJD.
MJD,
That's
yeah.
what I've always said.
I know that about you.
All Warped Tour long.
Yeah. You had a sign.
Speaking of signs, you guys were hard workers. You were always out at Warped Tour with signs, hustling that crowd. That was awesome to see.
We did that. They walked every day, and then I also worked for the TEI, like giving those lessons and everything.
That's right.
We were definitely. I mean, Warped Tour. You have this huge open opportunity, and you can either sit on your bus and watch The Office, which we did, or
Solid choice, by the way.
Yeah, it wasn't my choice, but they brought me in.
Solid choice, everybody.
Yeah, or you can get out there and work and get people's attention, and that's what we did, and that's why now we're on this tour and shows are selling out and kids are paying attention.
I'm sure there's a ton of kids on Warped Tour who found you guys there. That
Absolutely.
for this tour.
Almost every kid that's at our meet and greet or comes up to us is like, we saw you at Warped. It was so good. It was the first time we saw you.
Hard work is worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this, I mean, man, I've been doing this for like 11 years now. Emarosa has been a band for just as long as I've been. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Exactly. And for us to find ourselves, or find each other rather, and then build this and get through everything that we've been through as people and as musicians in this industry, I think it's honorable, respectable, and I'm very proud of where we are right now. And go ahead.
I got to circle back to what I said, though,
Please.
that got the Michael Jackson response, because I know that you do have some personal stuff in this album. For example, Porcelain, which was such a slow song for you guys. For as crazy as I'm used to seeing you on stage, seeing that video, I was like, I didn't know he could be so soft and gentle.
I know, man.
So what was some of the writing like, though, on this album for you? Because it seems like you were able to get more personal than you had ever gotten.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I'm writing, per se, it's life experience, okay? And after Versus, I had a lot of life experience, so I had a lot to write about. And, things about, love and loss, but the band is also very supportive of anything that I want to say. That's like, that's your part, you know what I mean? So I'll bring song ideas or whatever. Like Porcelain is something I wrote for my wife like a while ago, and I brought it and then wanted to, make it a full band, and it was like, and that's something that we did, and I thought that it turned out great. It's very organic. A lot of stuff was written in the studio. We actually had Ryan from Matchbook Romance play bass on the record.
That's sick.
And then Connor Dennis, who's drumming for Beartooth right now, he did drums on the record. We had them both come in, and Casey Bates produced it. It was my favorite recording experience of all time. Anybody that has ever recorded a record knows the process. I could not recommend Casey Bates more, because he just created such a open-minded, friendly environment to do whatever you wanted and just like be an artist. You're not stressed about anything. It's just about creating, which is what it should be about. And that's kind of when you get everything out.
Mm-hmm. How did you guys decide to go with Casey? I mean, he has such a resume. He's worked with so many bands.
So we went with it's funny. We went with Aaron Marsh when we did the Versus Reimagined EP, and that was beautiful. Aaron was great, and we had thought about going to him for the full length, but scheduling didn't line up or something like that, and Johnny Minardi, who was managing Casey at the time, suggested like, hey, like, I have this studio in Nashville, Casey can fly out. It was this huge, beautiful studio that we went to. Casey, and as soon as we thought like, oh, like he's done all of Portugal the Man's like discography, which is like, as soon as we heard that, it was like, oh, okay, something outside the box, and obviously he's done classic like Pierceville and Chiodos Records, but he's also grown as a producer and done a lot of things, and we kind of felt like it fit well. And so after we met and talked with him, and we decided to do it, he didn't even hear, I think, any of the lyrics or melodies till we started actually recording. I was kind of slow.
That's how organic it was, though.
Yeah, it was very
a lot of it was written in the studio.
I think that's for this band, I think when we're put in the studio and our outside lives aren't really influencing what we're doing, like that's when we
It's go time.
yeah, that's when we create the best stuff.
So what are you most excited for about this album? It's been out for a few months now, but I'm sure you were thrilled for it to finally come out. What was it about it in particular?
I mean, I was just proud. It's the best thing that I've ever been a part of musically.
You've been doing it for over a decade now, so finally you
Yeah,
get to-
and it's like when you create something that represents who you are, like then and then who you are now, it kind of is like a self-reflection. You get to kind of watch yourself grow through that process. And when I write things, it's to get that stuff out. So when I listen back, I can understand, like, okay, I've passed those things. Like I'm better from those things I wrote about, or I'm glad that I experienced them. And the big thing that I've learned, and I didn't expect this, I didn't know what to expect, but with this tour is these people are singing 131 so loud, and some of these,
it's gotta feel so nice.
it's insane, man. And like a lot of bands are huge, and they, they hear that all the time. All like the Taking Back Sundays, the Neck Deeps, the All Time Lows, the like and I'm sure it's special to them, but I bet you they remember their first tour where they first started hearing a whole sold out crowd chant, like, or sing their songs
so
back.
this tour is particularly special for
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. It's the first headline, like New York City, when we played Webster Hall, was the very first sold out show we've ever played in the U.S.
Ooh, selling out Webster Hall.
It was cool. And then Dallas was sold out. Tonight's sold out. Like, it's cool, man. There's like, it's, I don't know how to put it into words sometimes.
So you're excited to hit that stage tonight, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
What's up next for you guys? If you can say.
No, so after this headliner, we're going to go home, spend some time with the families for the holidays. Next year, we just shot a video for Sure off of our record, so that's going to come out next year. It's going to be a lot more touring, a lot more getting in front of people, pushing this record. It's good, man. I'm not ready to go and just force another record out. Like, I haven't had enough life experience yet. Like, I bought a couch. I could write about a couch.
Congratulations.
Thank
you bought a couch.
Yeah, it's like a velvet green, like a seafoam green.
That's
it's
a big
nice,
step.
man.
I'm actually proud.
Thank you.
I wasn't aware.
Yeah, you could probably fit like 3 people.
Moving on up in the world, my man.
Couches.
People are singing your songs. You're buying a 3-man couch.
Couches, man.
It's not bad. Well, I'm glad to hear that everything's going so well for the band, and you're so excited about it all.
Very,
it sounds like
man.
there's no slowing down, and Emarosa is strong as ever.
Yeah, next year's a big tour year for us.
Good. Well, keep at it. I'm
Thanks,
sure
man.
everyone will be excited.
Pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and everyone needs to go check out 131 because
Everyone
it
needs
is
to go check
awesome.
out. It is awesome. He's right.